For men only? Well, that's what two trustees of the Deep Springs College Board have claimed in the face of a decision by the majority of the board to admit women to the college for the first time since its founding in 1917. Bennett Kessler filed this report. National media will likely turn an eye on this gender-based legal issue. The case now unfolds in Inyo County Superior Court. The dissenting trustees are alumni Kinch Kostra and Ed Kiosian. They filed an objection to Deep Springs' petition to the court to modify the college's deed of trust to permit coeducation. Now, Dave Hitz, chairman of the Deep Springs trustees, had stated that times have changed. He said Deep Springs founder L.L. Nunn wanted students to train and become leaders in society. In 1917, women could rarely play that role, and, well, now they do. Hitz said earlier, quote, most trustees believe that effective training must include women and men working together, end quote. Now, an extensive process included input on this issue from hundreds of people before the board voted. A transition committee went to work to bring in female students in 2013. Now, the status conference in Inyo Superior Court is scheduled for June 22nd. The objections of the two trustees are stated in court documents. One brief says, quote, the purpose of the trust is limited to the education of promising young men. The trustees are legally and morally bound to carry out the purpose of the trust, end quote. Now, they allege that the trustees have no legal basis to alter L.L. Nunn's trust establishing Deep Springs College. Board members who support coeducation quote L.L. Nunn's trust, which states that they do have the authority to make changes if they would, quote, better carry out the purpose of the trust, end quote. Now, the trustees point out that the changes allowed are not limited to single-sex situations. The trustees believe that Mr. Nunn's expectations were that Deep Springs education would develop, evolve, and change over time. That change will rest initially right now with the Inyo County Superior Court. Well, recently, the annular eclipse of the sun and the moon was visible, and another cool celestial event occurs Tuesday, and local organizations are teaming up to help the public view it. The planet Venus will transit in front of the sun. Now, this happens when Venus passes directly between the Earth and the sun. Now, this event is pretty rare, with pairs of transits happening 8 years apart, followed by a quiet period of over 100 years with no transit being visible from Earth. And given that the last transit happened in 2004, you might want to catch this one. Now, during the transit, Venus will cross over the sun for a period of time of about 6 hours. Now, this will be seen as a small dark circle moving across the big disk of the sun. However, as we talked about during the annular eclipse, you should never look directly at the sun without eye protection. And even when looking at the sun with eye protection you had for viewing the eclipse, you won't see much during the transit without the aid of a telescope, and that's where the Owens Valley Radio Observatory staff comes in. Now, they have partnered with Laws Railroad Museum and Historical Site to host a Venus transit viewing event that is set for Tuesday, starting at 2:45 p.m. And observatory staff will be at Laws with a telescope set up with a solar filter, and this will be ideally suited for viewing this once-in-a-lifetime event. Now, the transit occurs promptly at 3:06 p.m. and will continue until the sun sets, so you will have plenty of time to get out to Laws to enjoy it. Owens Valley Radio Observatory staff will be on hand with telescopes and will try to answer as best they can any astronomy-related questions the public might have. And that, again, is taking place on Tuesday. Now, coming up on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., it's the annual open house for CARMA, the Northern Hemisphere's most powerful millimeter wave radio astronomy observatory. Throughout the day, CARMA scientists will lead tours of the facility, and that's located at Cedar Flat in the White Mountains. If you would like some more information about CARMA, you might want to check out a couple their website, mmarray.org, also ovro.caltech.edu. And we do want to note, speaking of Laws Railroad Museum, that coming up this Saturday, once again, Laws will be providing rides on the very cool 1927 Death Valley Railroad car. Tickets just $3 per person. Children under 13 free when accompanied by an adult. Now, also coming up at Laws, hey, Richard Aloyan will be in concert on June 16th, and that will be for the 5th annual benefit concert. Gates will open at 5 p.m. Concert will begin at 6 p.m., giving attendees just enough time to chow down on what should be the delectable offerings from Michelle Denault Catering. On the menu, tri-tip and ham dinner. Now, the concert donation is $20 and the dinner is $10. $30 for both. If you would like some more information about this benefit concert or perhaps the complete ride schedule for Laws Railroad Museum for the summer through Labor Day weekend, you can contact the museum at 760-873-5950 or check out the website lawsmuseum.org. We'll be back with weather and sports.